Chaos at Ibrox, pressure piling on Russell Martin as his Rangers' future hangs by a thread. A massive twist in the Nicolas Raskin saga, the truth behind Youssef Chermiti's staggering £8 million transfer, Derek Cornelius ready for battle, and the bombshell that Lawrence Shankland could have been in blue, but now aims to destroy Rangers instead, plus the brutal warning that Martin could be sacked within days if Hearts leave Ibrox with a result. Want to see these and more Rangers news? Stay until the end. We are the people. Russell Martin has lit the fuse at Ibrox once again, and this time the fire is blazing around Nicolas Raskin, the Belgian midfielder who just scored for his country against Kazakhstan, remains on the outside looking in at Ibrox despite training with the first team. Martin insists Raskin has to earn back the trust of his teammates, but the reality is plain. Rangers are winless in the league, Hearts are looming, and Martin has decided to dig his heels in instead of playing one of his most talented assets. It's a decision that feels reckless. You watched Raskin last season running the midfield, dictating play, fighting for every blade of grass. He was one of Rangers' brightest sparks, and yet under Martin, he's been sidelined in favor of experiments like Joe Rothwell in the holding role. Let's be honest, Rothwell isn't fit to lace Raskin's boots when it comes to influence on the game. The tension is already bubbling in G51. Supporters see Raskin banging in goals for Belgium, while at Ibrox he's left sitting idle, punished for reasons that don't make sense on the pitch. Now, Turkish giants Fenerbahce and Besiktas are circling, ready to swoop before their transfer window closes. Selling Raskin would be sheer madness. You don't cash in on one of your best players just because a manager who hasn't won a league game doesn't fancy him, and yet here we are. Martin is staking his credibility on leaving out Raskin, even though defeat to Hearts could leave Rangers trailing 9 points behind. That's not just a wobble, that's a potential collapse before autumn has even set in. When you strip it all back, it feels like a power struggle. Martin is trying to prove a point, but in doing so, he's alienating the same player who could actually save his job. That's the kind of stubbornness that gets managers sacked, not celebrated. Should Rangers get rid of Russell Martin before they even consider selling Nicolas Raskin? Two fresh faces could be stepping out at Ibrox tomorrow as Rangers look to kickstart their season. Russell Martin has confirmed that deadline day arrivals Youssef Chermiti and Derek Cornelius are available to make their debuts against Hearts. Chermiti cost Rangers a hefty £8 million, with the deal possibly climbing to £10 million with add-ons. For a striker who never found the net in 2 years at Everton, that figure has raised a few eyebrows. Martin, though, is brushing off the price tag, calling the Portugal under-21 forward a long-term investment and insisting he will prove to be a brilliant addition. He described Chermiti as hungry, hard-working, and eager to learn, promising the youngster won't have the burden of expectation on his shoulders inside the dressing room, even if outside the pressure is already mounting. Alongside him, Canadian defender Derek Cornelius could also be handed a first appearance in blue after sealing his loan from Marseille. Both men arrive at a time when Rangers are crying out for fresh energy and quality to turn things around, with Martin still searching for his first league win. It's a baffling call when the team is desperate for creativity and grit in the middle of the park. Now, the stage is set, Ibrox will be packed, Hearts will come to frustrate, and two new faces could carry the weight of expectation. Should Rangers really be spending £10 million on a striker who hasn't scored in senior football, while one of their best midfielders in Raskin is frozen out of the squad? Lawrence Shankland will walk out at Ibrox tomorrow night with a point to prove, and the sting is that he could so easily have been lining up in blue instead of maroon. The Hearts captain was heavily linked with Rangers in the summer, but instead of moving on a free, he stayed put and signed a new deal at Tynecastle. Now he's talking up his determination to inflict more misery on Russell Martin's struggling side. The contrast couldn't be sharper. Shankland is a proven striker in Scottish football, a physical presence who knows how to bully defenders and take his chances. Last season alone, he chipped in with 8 goals and 8 assists in the league while consistently creating chances for his teammates. He's not flashy, he's reliable, exactly the type of player who thrives in the intensity of Ibrox. Instead, Rangers splashed out £8 million on Youssef Chermiti, a forward who never scored a single goal in 2 years at Everton. Martin has called him a long-term investment, but you can't ignore the gamble. This isn't Portuguese youth football anymore. This is the Scottish Premiership, and Rangers need players who deliver here and now, not maybe in 2 or 3 years. It begs the question, did Rangers outthink themselves? For the price of Chermiti, they could have secured Shankland and still had money left to strengthen the midfield, where the saga with Raskin rumbles on. Instead, the Hearts skipper could end up being the one to twist the knife into Martin's tenure by scoring at Ibrox. Would you have rather seen Rangers sign Shankland for free instead of spending £8 million on Chermiti? Russell Martin is standing on the thinnest of ice at Ibrox, and one more slip could see him plunge straight through. 4 league games without a single win, a humiliating 9-1 collapse to Club Brugge in the Champions League qualifiers, and a very public fallout with Nicolas Raskin. This isn't the start any Rangers manager can afford. Now, the visit of Hearts has been billed as must-win, and if Martin fails again, his time could be up within days. The irony is brutal. Celtic are in turmoil after a shambolic summer window, their supporters fuming at the board, and yet Rangers have failed to capitalize. A club that should be breathing down their necks is instead 6 points adrift, and even Hearts sit 6 points clear after their strong start under Derek McInnes. That's unacceptable for a Rangers side that invested heavily in the summer and talked about chasing the title. Barry Ferguson has already weighed in, saying it doesn't matter if the performance is pretty or not, only the 3 points matter now. He's right. Forget possession, forget tactical jargon. Ibrox demands victories. Anything else just feeds the narrative that Martin isn't up to the job. And when you look at the numbers, it's even more damning. Ferguson's brief interim spell saw him record a better win percentage than Martin has managed. That alone tells you the scale of the problem. The next run of fixtures, from Hearts in the league to Genk and Sturm Graz in Europe, could define the season and Martin's career at Rangers. Should the Rangers board sack Russell Martin immediately if he fails to beat Hearts at Ibrox? Or does he deserve more time despite this disastrous start? Comment below what you think about the news. Don't forget to leave a like on the video to help me out. I post videos every day talking about our Rangers, so if you're not subscribed, you're missing out on the latest news. See you soon.